Let me ask you a question. How many of you have ever felt like you had to wear a mask just to be accepted? How many times have you silenced your own voice just to fit in, just to be liked, just to feel like you belong? Live in a world where people are starving for authenticity, but at the same time, they're terrified of showing who they really are. And the tragedy is this: the more you hide, the more you lose yourself. You do imagine something. Imagine reaching the end of your life and realizing you lived someone else's dream, followed someone else's rules, and played by someone else's expectations. That's not living. That's dying slowly while you're still breathing. And I promise you, nothing is more painful than looking back and realizing you never gave yourself permission to just be you. This isn't just another motivational talk. This is a wake-up call, because the truth is the world doesn't need another copy. It doesn't need you pretending to be perfect or trying to meet standards that were never meant for you. The world needs the real you, the raw, messy, powerful, of a kind version that no one else can ever replicate. And if you stay with me through this entire message, you'll discover what's been holding you back from living unapologetically as yourself. You'll unlock the keys to a kind of freedom that no amount of money, no level of success, and no external approval can ever buy. So don't just listen casually, lean in. Open your heart, open your mind, and by the time we're done, never again question the value of who you are. Think about it. How much of your life right now is being lived for you? And how much of it is being lived for someone else's approval? Be honest with yourself. You wake up in the morning and you make choices about your career, your relationships, your appearance, the way you speak, the way you show up in the world. How much of that is genuinely what you want? How much of it is designed to please somebody else? That's the silent trap so many people fall into. And the worst part is most of the time they don't even realize they're doing it. From the time we're children, we're conditioned. Think back. Parents telling you what you should become, teachers grading you not only on performance but on conformity, society rewarding you for fitting neatly into the box. We're told what's acceptable, what's successful, what's admirable. If you step too far outside the lines, you're criticized, judged, maybe even rejected. That conditioning doesn't go away just because you grow up. No, it evolves, it grows more sophisticated. Now, it's not your parents, it's your peers, your coworkers, your social media followers. Now, it's likes, comments, applause, promotions, compliments, all of it whispering in your ear. Keep playing the game, keep being who we want you to be. And here's the danger. If you play that game long enough, you lose sight of who you really are. You bury your real self so deep beneath the layers of other people's expectations that one day you wake up and you don't even recognize the person in the mirror. You're exhausted, you're unfulfilled, and you don't know why. And it's because you've been living for their approval instead of your own truth. The brutal reality is no amount of approval will ever be enough. If you don't feel whole on the inside, 10,000 likes won't fill the hole. If you don't respect yourself, a standing ovation won't change the emptiness. Approval is like a drug. It gives you a hit of temporary validation, but the high fades quickly. And then you need more and more. That cycle keeps you trapped. You become addicted to being liked, but you never feel love for who you really are. Let me tell you something powerful. Every time you say yes to something just to be accepted, you're saying no to yourself. Every time you shrink who you are so someone else feels comfortable, you're betraying your own soul. And betrayal of self is the deepest wound you can carry. It doesn't matter how much you achieve on the outside. If you're not aligned on the inside, always feel empty. I've seen people live entire lives like this. People who had the money, the cars, the lifestyle, the admiration, but behind closed doors, they were miserable. Do you know why? Because they built their lives like a beautiful house on sand. It looked perfect from the outside, but inside it was crumbling because it wasn't built on authenticity. It wasn't built on their truth. It was built on the shaky ground of, what will they think of me? And the answer is, it doesn't matter what they think of you if you don't think highly of yourself. The greatest tragedy is when you sacrifice who you are for the illusion of being accepted and then realize those same people whose approval you fought for aren't even thinking about you anymore. People are busy with their own lives, their own insecurities, their own battles. They're not lying awake at night worrying about you, but you. You're losing sleep over them. You're holding yourself back because of them. You're delaying your own dreams, censoring your own truth, dimming your own light for them. In the end, it costs you everything while they don't even notice. So what's the alternative? The alternative is courage. The courage to stand tall and say, I'm done performing for everyone else. I'm going to live my life on my terms. I'm going to stop apologizing for being who I am. That's where freedom begins. That's where self-respect begins. When you make the shift from living for their applause to living for your own alignment, everything changes. Does that mean people will always like it? No. In fact, some people will dislike the real you because the real you might make them uncomfortable. But here's the secret. Those people were never meant to be in your life long-term anyway. Because the ones who are truly meant for you, the ones who truly love you, they don't need you to play a role. They want the unfiltered, unapologetic version of you. They don't just tolerate your authenticity. They celebrate it. And listen closely. You live for approval, you attract relationships based on performance. But when you live authentically, you attract relationships based on truth. One is fragile and temporary, the other is unshakable. You to ask yourself right now, what masks have you been wearing? Where in your life have you been shrinking just to keep others happy? And more importantly, what's it costing you? Because it is costing you. Maybe it's costing you your peace. Maybe it's costing you your health. Maybe it's costing you your confidence or your dreams. Whatever it is, I promise you this. Whatever approval you think you're gaining is not worth the price you're paying. The time has come to decide. Do you want to live your life as a reflection of everyone else's expectations, or do you want to live as the fullest, truest expression of yourself? Because you can't have both. One path leads to mediocrity, to regret, to emptiness. The other path. It's not always easy, but it's real, it's alive, it's fulfilling. And that's the only kind of life worth living. So stop chasing their approval. You don't need it. You never did. Only approval you need is your own. Every single one of us has a story, a journey. A past filled with moments we're proud of and moments we wish we could erase. But here's the truth most people don't realize. Story isn't a burden. It's your greatest asset. The very experiences you've been running from, the ones you think disqualify you, are actually the very things that give you strength, depth, and power. So many people spend their lives trying to rewrite their history in their minds, pretending it didn't happen, hiding the scars, burying the pain. They think that by covering it up, they'll be free. But you're never free when you're hiding. You're never free when you're ashamed of where you've come from. You only find real freedom when you stand tall and say, yes, this is my story. This is what I've lived. And because of it, I am stronger, wiser, more unstoppable than ever. Think about it. Every trial, every heartbreak, every rejection, every failure, it shaped you. It carved resilience into your soul. It forced you to dig deeper, to fight harder, to discover parts of yourself you never would have met otherwise. Your struggles didn't come to destroy you. They came to prepare you. They gave you a perspective that no one else has. They gave you a voice that carries weight because it's not theory, it's truth. And when you own that, when you stop hiding from it and start standing on it, you become untouchable. The problem is most people want the success, the love, the respect, but they don't want the story that comes with it. They look at others and think, I wish I had their life, their opportunities, their luck. But they forget that behind every success story is a messy, painful, complicated history. Nobody gets to the mountaintop without walking through the valley. Nobody. If you're in the valley right now, I want you to hear me. This is not the end of your story. This is the chapter that will one day make the victory taste sweeter. This is the season that's building the muscles you'll need for the future you're walking into. You might not realize it yet, but there are people out there right now who need your story. They need your voice. They need your experience. They're waiting for someone who's been through the fire and come out on the other side, someone who can look them in the eyes and say, I've been there, and you can make it too. And if you hide your story, if you pretend it never happened, you rob the world of the hope and healing you could bring. Your story is your credibility. It's the proof that what you're saying isn't just empty words. It's the reason people will lean in when you speak, because they'll feel your truth. You can't fake authenticity. You can't manufacture raw lived experience. And that's why your story matters more than you think. The truth is, the very things you're embarrassed about right now might one day be the exact things that set you apart. Mistakes, the failures, the detours, they're part of your DNA. They make you relatable, they make you human, they make you real. And being real will take you further than being perfect ever could. People don't connect to perfection, they connect to honesty, to struggle, to courage. And here's something I want you to never forget. Your story is not your identity, but it is your power. What happened to you is not who you are, but it is the soul that has grown who you are becoming. Too many people confuse the two. They get stuck saying, this is just who I am because of what I've been through. No. What you've been through is the reason you have the strength to break cycles, to rise higher, to rewrite the future. Use your story as an excuse. Use it as evidence of what you're capable of. You've got to stop comparing your journey to everyone else's. Stop looking at their highlight reels and feeling like your life doesn't measure up. You don't know the full story behind their smiles, just like they don't know the weight behind yours. The only story that matters is yours. And when you embrace it fully, when you stop apologizing for it, you begin to walk in a power that can't be shaken by anyone else's opinion. You see, the people who change the world aren't the ones who hide their scars. They're the ones who reveal them and show others that healing is possible. They're the ones who take their pain and turn it into purpose. They're the ones who take their setbacks and turn them into comebacks. They're the ones who refuse to be defined by what happened to them and instead choose to be defined by what they decided to do with it. And that choice is available to you right now. You can keep running from your past, or you can embrace it. You can keep pretending to be someone else, or you can stand boldly in who you are. You can keep wishing your life was different, or you can realize that every single thing you've gone through has brought you to this exact moment. This moment has the